requests, and you should do your part. Keep your good resolutions. ואנחנו כמון ניסעידת Adonai Hashem Eloheinu V'yem Koreinu. Everybody please throw in a coin. Chapter 12. A little light pushes away a lot of darkness. So let's put a little light on the situation. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. Yeah. Page 183. Just as light has power and dominion over darkness, that a little light pushes away a lot of darkness automatically, just happens. There's not a struggle, and it's inevitable. This is the nature of light and darkness. So the same way, foolishness of klippa and sitra achra, which comes as an expression of the nefesh bahamas, the animal soul, in the left side of the heart, is driven away by a little bit of clear thinking, wisdom. Goodness gracious, I don't know what came over me. How could I do such a thing? How could I have been so foolish? These are the thoughts that go through your mind when you suddenly see the situation that you're in. So how did you get into it? Because the Yetzer Hara, the spirit of foolishness, entered into you and told you, it's okay, it's okay. Don't worry. You can trust me, I'm your friend. When the darkness is driven, the foolishness, like darkness, is driven away before the wisdom of the nefesh elokis, which is in the brain. Page 184. Asher Ratzoyna, which is the desire of the godly soul, is limshol levado, to rule completely ba'ir, in the small city of your heart, ulehislabesh and from ruling in the heart to enclose itself in the three garments of the soul, which are thought, speech, and action, as mentioned above. B'chol haguf kola, in the whole of a person's body, k'nis yolel, as we said before. Shem machshava, and what does this mean? This is the power of machshava, dibor, and maisa, thought, speech, and action, as expressed through the Tariag mitzvahs of the Torah, the 613 mitzvahs of the Torah, as we said before. So that's what life is like for the Beinoni. He's constantly struggling, constantly striving to be totally, totally good in thought, speech, and deed. Bottom of page 184. But afal pk, nonetheless, Eina nikra tzaddik. He's not a tzaddik. Looks like a tzaddik, behaves like a tzaddik, but he's not a tzaddik. Why? Because this advantage that we've been talking about here, the advantage of wisdom over foolishness, light over darkness, Asher la'or nefesh elokis, the advantage of light of the godly soul. Bottom of page 184, last two lines. Al ha'choshech, its advantage over the darkness and the foolishness, the sichlus, shel ha'klippa, which is generated by the klippa, hanitcha memela, and even though the klippa is pushed away automatically, effortlessly, and here is the crux. The advantage of light and wisdom over darkness and foolishness only applies to the garments of the soul and not to the essence of the soul. The tzaddik is essentially committed to God, essentially bound up to God. His whole nefesh, ruach, and neshama are godly. The Beinani, his nefesh, ruach, and the ruach and the neshama are not essentially godly. He is struggling to control his thought, speech, and deed. That's what it's all about. Second paragraph, 185. But the essence of the godly soul does not dominate and control the essence of the klippa. The klippa remains what it was. It will retreat. It won't express itself for a certain period of time when the lights are shining very brightly. So then the klippa is quiet. When the lights dim down, the klippa gets strong again. Like in the description that Rivka, here we are, Rivka, good morning. The Rivka says, the prophet says to Rivka, why? She says, why am I experiencing such pain and discomfort? I wanted to have children so badly, now I have. It's possible, but I can't take it. He said, because you have two nations inside of you, and they're already struggling, and that's the pain, that they're struggling, and they will constantly be in conflict with one another. When one is up, the other will be down. When the other gets up, then the first one will go down. So therefore, it's very, very important for us to be on our best so that the klippa will not rise up against us. And if it does, how do we deal with the situation? By increasing in light. You can't fight the darkness. You can only bring in more light. The middle of page 185. Because the essence of the soul, of the life force, which comes from the klippa, which finds its place of comfort, its comfort zone in the left side of the heart, it's never pushed out of its place in the spiritual makeup of the Beinani. He never gets rid of it. As long as he's a Beinani, he doesn't get rid of it. If he gets rid of it, he'll be no longer a Beinani, he will be a tzaddik. He is like a tzaddik during certain times, like when he davens or when he learns, if he's inspired. His moments of inspiration are tzaddik moments, but he's not a tzaddik, so they don't last. He's going to argue in later chapters that you could even say that they're not real. Since they don't last, he's not real, it's not a real righteousness in him. And then the Rebbe argues back and says, no, it is real because he can do it again. And something that you do constantly over and over and over again is considered reliable. like the korban, the daily offering in the Beis Hamikdash is called atomid, a constant offering that's constantly brought once in the morning, once in the evening. And even though it's not constantly being brought, but since it's coming every day, it's called a true bringing. So similarly, the Rebbe argues back that the Beinoni, even though he never conquers his Yetzer Hara, never conquers the negativity, it's still considered a true service of Hashem because he'll do it over and over and over again. He will return to the struggle and he will achieve what he achieves over and over. But he never becomes really a tzaddik because he never gets rid of the negative force within him of the klippa in the left side of the heart. Here we go, page 185, or fourth paragraph down. Because in the Beinoni, ki mahus, third paragraph, ki mahusa v'atzmusa shel nefesh bahamas. Oh, we said that. Lei nidcha klal mimakoy moi b'Beinoni. It's never pushed. The negative force of the animal soul is never vanquished, is never defeated and destroyed. So it comes back. Achar hatfila, and after a person has prayed, last two paragraphs. She'ein rishpe eish avas Hashem v'hisgalus libei, when after davening, that flaming fire of love of Hashem that we described in the right side of the, going from the brain to the right side of the heart and spilling over even to the left, causing a fiery love to possess his heart. After davening, it dies down. And Hashem is no longer revealed in his heart in the right side. Ki'im teiche ratzuv ava. But after prayer, the bottom paragraph here, it's a very subtle paragraph. The love is not flaming like when he's davening, but it's kept inside. He uses the expression ratzuf ava, which he translates here as inlaid with hidden love. Ava mesuteres. So his heart, rather than being aflame with love, it's sort of coated on the inside with a hidden love. What's a hidden love? It's a constant thing in the life of a Beinoni that he loves Hashem. But it's more of a potential love than a flaming love. Shehi ava hataviyas. Now he says, not only is this hidden love, it's also it's a natural love. It's not something that comes as a result of effort and meditation and concentration. That's an achievement. This love is not so much an achievement. The hidden love in the heart of a Jew is what we're born with. We all have it. So the key word here is two key words. Ava misuteris, like the missus on the terrace. Misuteris means hidden. You've got the hidden love, which he equates with a natural love. The word teva means nature. So there's a love that's called tivis. Ava tivis. She Ava hativis Shebenefesh Elokis, which is an expression of the godly soul, as we will explain. Page 186. And so that's why, since after davening, the flaming love dies down and the person returns to his natural state. The Jew naturally loves Hashem. A Jew naturally wants to do acts of kindness. A Jew naturally is very merciful. A Jew naturally is very modest. Naturally, he loves justice and kindness and godliness. So this is the love that remains with a person after davening. And since that's what it is, it's not a flaming love that pushes everything else out of the picture. It's just a natural love. It's cool. A cool love. So therefore it's possible, first paragraph, top of 186, the sichlis, which means the foolishness. The ksil is a fool. The old HR is called an old ksil, an old fool. Hara. So this old, wicked fool who hangs around the whole time in the corners of the left side of your heart, he begins working on you. When you're not inspired, then the old fool starts working on you. Why is he called an old fool? Why is Yitzhar called an old fool? Old foolish king. Because he was there first. Before you had a godly soul expressing itself in your life, he was running the show from birth, from when you were born. So why is he a fool? If he's so powerful, he is very powerful. Why is he called a fool? So the Rebbe says he's called a fool. The sages call him a fool because they know that deep down, the Jewish person is not going to listen. Doesn't want to listen. So in this state, after davening, when there's love in the heart, but it's just a natural love. It's not a love that you created with your meditation and with effort, because you want to serve with a strong desire to serve Hashem. It's just sort of natural. Okay? So it's possible that the foolishness of the Yetzer Hara, which is an expression of the animal soul, will return and reveal itself in the left part of the heart. Okay, you see it inside. It's possible that the sichlus of the ksil, the foolishness of the Yetzer Hara, this evil, wicked soul, his galus libe b'chol could return and be revealed in the heart, in the left side of the heart, and cause a person, second paragraph, lis avois, to lust. Taiva, L'kol inyoni gashmius olam hazeh, for all the wonderful things, materialistic things that this world has to offer. All the things that you like most. Everybody think of, what do you like most from this? What is the world? What's the most exciting thing to you? I said to a girl who works in our office, who was helping out with the newest issue of Moshe Times. I said, what can I get you? What do you like? Do you like chocolate? She says, yes. So I brought her chocolate bar. She was very happy. If we crave these things, then that's from the Yetzer Hara. Oh, I'm so happy now. I'm not davening. My heart is the flame. I can have a chocolate bar. I love it. As we said yesterday, on the edge of a sword, a person has to. There's a story about a guy who was he was a masmed. He was constantly turning. He was, his name was Gorevich. He was a great chassid, a Beinani. The Rebbe said on him, he was a Beinani of the Torah. He was very careful about whatever he ate. He came to somebody's house, a kosher house. People were big Yerushalayim. And they served him a plate with some fish on it. And they assured him that it was 100%, 1,000,000% kosher, was all good. And he looked at it, it looked delicious. And he looked at it, and he looked at it, and he looked at it. He just kept looking at it. And he was struggling. It was clear that he was struggling because he felt a desire to eat it. In the end, he took sardines instead. Here he says something extraordinary, that after davening, when the love dies down, and it's just a natural, normal love, and the Beinoni is just like anybody else, Ke'ilu lo yispala klal, the davening has not left any effect, has not had any effect on him. It affected him when he was davening. His heart was aflame with love. And when the davening is over, it's over. Back to square one. Own. Back to square one. As though he never prayed. In the middle of page 186. But if the thing is absolutely forbidden, he wouldn't dream of doing it. He's in control of himself. He's not going to go out and do something terrible. But Poyel Mamish, Chas v'Shalom, says the Alter Rebbe. Heaven forbid. He's not a Rasha. He's never, the Beinoni never does something forbidden. Never. Never thinks, never does. He doesn't. He may think something forbidden, but he won't entertain the thought. That is to say, he won't savor it. He won't enjoy it. He won't think it over a few times to make sure he gets whatever it has to offer. Ella. What do we see? The bottom of page 86, last 2.5 paragraphs. Here, hori avera, akasha mi avera. We had this expression before. Thinking about doing something negative is in many ways worse than doing it. Why? Because when you do something wrong, you're doing it externally, with your external organs of action. When you're thinking something wrong, thinking about doing something wrong, you could be doing it in your mind and really be involved. And it could affect your body. It says that the woman who saved the lives of the 2 spies that Yeshua sent to Jericho, she's called a Zoina. They debate in the Gemara. What did that mean? One of the meanings of Zoina is a woman for hire, a prostitute. Well, she saved their lives. And she not only saved their lives, but she helped the Jewish people by encouraging them and helped them to conquer Yericho, which was the manul, the lock, the entrance to Eretz Yisrael. And Yeshua married her. He married her. She was a righteous person. She did tshuva. She was a righteous person. She became Jewish. And it says in the Talmud that somebody just would mention her name, they would get excited. Like this. You might think of certain, what they call stars of the media. People get very excited about them. But to do something, heaven forbid. But to think about it, a thought could enter his mind, and like he says here, hori avera, hakasha mi avera. Thinking about doing something wrong could be considered worse than doing it, because the potential to be totally involved is much greater, because you're like free. No one's going to stop you in the world of your thoughts. Whereas in the world of action, you're not going to do anything. It'd be too embarrassing, and you're too well disciplined. You just don't do something if you're not allowed. Our sages of blessed memory say there are three things that a person, nobody can avoid doing them every single day. A person is not free from these three things every day. What are they? He lists two. Here, one of them is thinking about doing something you're not supposed to. The iyun tefillah, and concentrating in davening. Well, maybe you don't have that problem, but concentrating in davening is war. To control your mind and keep it focused is unbelievably hard. It's very, very hard. I used to think when I was just learning how to do things in the world of Yiddishkeit, someday I'm going to know what these words mean. I'm going to really be able to daven. I'm going to concentrate on my davening. Famous last words. I learned the meaning of the words. Now I can't think of them. My mind goes wherever it wants to go. My mind has a mind of its own. I sometimes wonder if it's mine or somebody else's. And you see how the Rebbe davened? The Rebbe comes to Mincha, he sits down in his chair at the desk. He davens like this, doesn't even look around. He looks at the words. That's not easy too. When you don't know the words, so you have to look at them. Once you know the words, it becomes automatic. So since you don't have to think about them, you think about other things. I mentioned this, it's a joke. I've mentioned it once or twice. That sometimes when a person, after he davens, he feels like he should bench Gaimel, he should say the blessing for someone who was overseas. He traveled overseas and came back. And the third thing he doesn't mention here is Lashon Hara, to think bad things about somebody else. So what was achieved? If you're back to normal, you're back to square one. What did you achieve with all this meditation and davening and application and concentration? And you got nowhere. So the Alter Rebbe calms you down. This is the last section. We'll have to come back to it after Yontif. There is an impression that was left. Just like doing a bad deed leaves a stain, like the tomato sauce leaves a stain on your white chiffon blouse. So the love that you feel of Hashem also leaves an impression, but a good one. And this helps a person from now on to prevail over the evil craving in the left side of his heart, and to prevent the evil from gaining supremacy and dominion over the small city, so that he will actually do something with the garments of expression of the soul, which are thought, speech, and deed. He won't do, he won't say, and he won't allow himself to think. And even in here, page 187, towards the bottom, even in the mind alone, with respect to thoughts, the evil does not have the dominion and power to cause him to think thoughts consciously, meaning to take a second look at what you're not supposed to look at, or a second bite of something that you're not allowed, that you don't want to indulge in, or to reconsider something that isn't worth reconsidering. But what happens? It describes it. This reshima, this impression in his mind, will help a person so that he won't go so far as to entertain a negative thought, to consider it carefully, because out of curiosity, or to get to know it because it's enticing. like the thought fell into your mind of its own accord. And he says here in English, unbidden, because it rose up in your heart, and from your heart it went to your mind, page 188. And then, here, listen to this. But immediately, as soon as this thought enters the mind, and the Yetzer Hara says, take a good look at it. You know, you didn't think about this. Now, maybe you should think about it. He pushes it away with two hands, two spiritual hands. He pushes the thought out of his brain and said, you don't belong here. Out. Get out of here. You're not allowed in the shul. And he turns his thought away from this uninvited idea that fell into his head. Miyad shenizkar shehu hirhora, as soon as he remembers that, wait a minute, I made a resolution that I'm not going to think about these things, so goodbye. Like my wife says to me, goodbye. End of the conversation. And he will refuse to accept it, even as something for a casual thought. And certainly, if he won't accept it as a casual thought, how much more so he's not going to speak about it, even to his therapist. I don't know, it's a question. No, I don't think he's going to speak about it even to his therapist. He's out of it. Because when you're talking over with your therapist, you're living through it all over again. Because, why not? Because he is a Beinani, and a Beinani will not willingly indulge in thoughts that are not appropriate, because when a person indulges in thoughts that are not appropriate, he or she is no longer called a Beinani. They are called wicked. Even for a single moment. The Beinani is not wicked even a single moment. And the same thing applies now in the conclusion of this chapter, which is really extraordinary. The same thing applies in matters between ourselves and other people, our human relations, right? Our social media. As soon as a thought rises from the heart to the mind that you resent somebody, you dislike somebody, you disapprove, you judge somebody in a negative way, or if you feel at the top of page 189, jealous of somebody or angry at somebody, or you bear a grudge because of something they did, the Beinani will not allow them to remain in his mind at all, because they are all from Klippa and Yetzer Hara. This is tough. This is really tough. When somebody really hurts you or hurts someone that you love, it's very tough not to be resentful, not to be angry, not to be nice with them. The Adar, page 189, on the contrary, Hamoyach, here it comes again. Moshe Meisels, the spy in Napoleon's camp. Hamoyach shalit al halei. The mind rules over the heart. And the ruach shabahart laseis hahepech mamish, and this causes the person to behave just the opposite. Instead of being angry to this person, he's going to be nice to this person. Like a famous story, you may not like to hear it. A person whose wife was always very critical and gave him no peace. And for some reason, I don't want to go into the whole long story, but he decided to change his tactics. he started blessing her every time she cursed him. And she was such a nasty person that when she saw that he was enjoying her cursing, she got nice, just out of spite. So this will cause him lisnagim chavere b'midas chesed. He will now behave. He will take upon himself and force himself to behave with kindness, with a smile, and really mean it. And an extra love. He'll behave with extra love towards this person. And he will tolerate abuse from this person to the nth degree, and not get angry, and not shout or scream or retort, not to express any anger, heaven forbid, and he certainly will not pay him back, give you a taste of your own medicine. No, we don't do that. He will only do extra good to this person who is abusing him. Like it says, we have to learn from Yosef HaTzadik, who, when his brothers wanted to kill him and sold him into slavery, he returned. They thought he was going to punish them, and in the end, he said, "What am I God? I should punish you? Can I hurt you? You couldn't hurt me. Can I hurt 12 of you?" Other religions claim that they invented the quality of mercy. To quote William Shakespeare, the quality of mercy. It's not true. We learn it from Yosef HaTzadik. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei nefashos rabos v'chesronan, al kel masha baras olaf hayis bahem nefesh kol chai baruch chei ha'olamim. A kosher prayer from Pesach to everybody. We finished chapter 12, by the way. Yay! We just set a speed record. We'll have to review.
You're looking Pesach, Rabbi Pape, Kosher Pesach, Shabbos, Simcha.